Is it okay? Hello, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like for that case,
yeah.
301 it is printing the two output two.
So Git, right?
Yes.
Git. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also know GitHub, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, what is the main difference between these two stuffs? Okay. And I also want the importance of Git, like not exactly importance, why we use developers. If suppose if I'm developing an application, okay, so after writing the code, I'll push into the Git, right? Right. So what's the reason to do that? Okay, what's the practice? And first, I want you to define what is Git and how GitHub is
Yeah.
different. Okay, and secondly, I want you to explain the reason behind using this Git. Okay, so maybe
Yeah.
you know, right? So well developing an application, it's important for us to push the code into the GitHub, maybe our Git, I can
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me more about this.
So So GitHub is basically a platform where we can store we can store our data, and Git is the tool so which is used by the GitHub. It consists of some commands which are needed in GitHub to store the files or the directories into the GitHub. So Git is basically a tools or the commands that we use, and GitHub is a platform where we can use these commands and tools. So we developers use the GitHub to as a backup. Like we need to like in organization there are many people in a team we are working which are working on the same directory which are working on the same repo. So we need to some manage it so that everyone can have access it and everyone can change it and like in a proper manner. So in GitHub we can
Mhm.
so that's why we use GitHub so that we can have some backup and security purpose. Like if like in our local system some files gets deleted, we can get the backup from the GitHub, and also help in like manage among all the people in a team. So whatever one
Okay,
changes in some file, we can get it.
collaborative.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are very close, but still I want a specific answer, like which, like to the point, if I can say. So to be this kit we use for some specific purpose, just to maintain something. Like can you think of it like
Like it's like a
maybe
versioning. We can say
yeah,
version. We can say versioning. Like
yeah,
if we,
yeah.
yeah, it acts
This is
as a
the term that
versioning for
I'm
that.
expected from you. Yeah, because Git is a version control system, so you should
Version.
incorporate this word while telling the answer. Yeah, that's fine, but you're pretty close when you're telling the things. That's great. Okay. Uh, so and fine. I have one more coding question. Okay. So can we do that now? One more
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Like
sure.
I wanted to say, so can you just open the same provide chart? Okay. So I have one more question, and you have already shared your screen. Fine, right?
Yeah,
I can see that, and I can change one more question here. Mhm. So let's switch here. Which confirm? Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
great. Okay, so now it's pretty easy question. Okay,
okay. Yeah,
again you can easily think of it. So go through the question, like, so when a string column, let's say that string name they have given as column title that represent the column title as appears in an Excel
yes.
sheet. What we need to return? We need to return its corresponding column number. Let's say
Column number. Yeah.
A usually represented by first column, right? B is second,
Yes.
C. If you go like that, again after Z we get A column. So that column is like 27th column, right? So
Yes.
given a column title, we need to print or we need to return its corresponding column number. So that's the question. like I just want an approach first, like how you will go about it, and
Yeah, yeah, I got it. So my approach is to like I will iterate through every character of that string and then take its xk value and then try to get a result from this.
okay, makes sense. Yeah, through each that suppose if I give
Each
AA, you will iterate through that, and
yeah,
okay, each character, and
each character.
you
Yeah.
do some operations. Maybe which operation
Yes.
you not do?
I will take their
Which one? Like so,
let's
what
say
operation you do?
I think let's say it's a character, so its value is one.
Hmm.
So I will let's say take
Hmm.
a variable which initially stored zero. Then I will multiply this variable with 26 and add that one into this and store that variable into the that uh, initial variable.
Okay.
So performing
Yeah.
action like that, I will conclude the result.
Yeah. Perform.
Yeah. Should I start coding?
Yeah. Code it.
Yeah. So let's take the result, variable result. Starting it's zero. Now I will iterate through every character. Let's see. O to C. Character C in that column title. I will get a value from it to be. So in that way, I think I will get the result. One second. I think somewhere. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I did a mistake there. Yeah, now it will. Yeah, it's printed the correct output.
Yeah. We'll try. Yeah, it's working. It must work. Yeah. Correct. Great. Fine. So let me stop this. Okay. So and I have some few questions again. Maybe I can go from networks again. Mm. So have you heard transport layer protocols, right?
Yes.
Okay, what are those?
Their application layer protocol, presentation layer. Yeah. OSI, sorry. Transport layer protocol, right?
Hmm.
Transport layer protocol means TCP, right?
Okay, what are the like? Can you just
Sorry.
brief?
I forgot about it. So transport layer protocol is basically it takes the bits from the above layer, and if needed, like
Fine. So I'm just asking. We have OSI as well, and we have
yes,
TCP/IP
yes.
model, right? So in that, let's say we have transport layer, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just asking, what are the transport layer protocols which are available to us? Getting my point.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
we have specific names. Have you heard about uh, TCP and UDP?
yes, I know. Yes, I know.
Yeah. So that is what I'm asking. Yeah.
Sorry,
Great.
I was not recalling that
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so TCP is basically a
Yeah. Fine. No
transmission control
problem.
protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, TCP is basically a
Hmm.
transmission control protocol, which is a connection-oriented protocol. So basically, whenever he has to send some data,
Okay.
so it basically establish the connection with the receiver through three-way handshaking. So
Okay.
after connecting to the receiver,
Hmm.
it sends the data. So it
Hmm.
is more reliable But in the UCB, which is a
Okay.
user data
Okay, fine, fine,
protocol,
fine. That's
yeah,
enough. That's enough. Okay, so now let's do this. Okay, I'll tell, let's say one property, let's say reliability. Okay, so you should tell like in TCP, how like reliability is more or less. That is the only thing that I want from you now. Okay,
yeah,
so you need to compare and contrast in between TCP and UDP. I'll tell the term, let's say reliability, which is more
yeah.
reliable, TCP or UDP.
TCP is more reliable.
Okay. So which is connectionless protocol among
TCP
these?
is a connectionless protocol.
TCP is connectionless, sir.
Sorry. UDP is connectionless protocol. TCP is connectionless protocol.
You only okay. So which adopted three-way handshaking system?
TCP out the three-way handshaking system.
Okay, three-way handshaking. So what about UDP?
UDP doesn't make any connection with the receiver, so it is less reliable.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's correct. Okay, which is more fast?
UDP is more fast because it doesn't make any connection, so it is more faster. It sends the data.
Okay, okay, fine. So suppose now me and you are there in a video conference, correct? Correct,
Yeah,
right? Okay. So it must. So suppose now some of the data are, let's say, data packets are transferring, correct, right?
yeah.
So my question is, so in this streaming, which particular transport layer protocol that we are actually using as of now? My
We are
question is
using
clear, right?
UDP. Yeah, we are using UDP protocol there.
Mm. Great, great. Okay, for streaming. Okay, let's say I send one WhatsApp message to you, or let's say it is having one file. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, which transport layer protocol is preferred there?
Uh, the TCP is referred. TCP protocol is referred.
Reason?
Because it's a connection oriented out, it cares of the error checking. So error checking facility, error checking is there. So whatever the sender is
Okay,
sending, it correctly reaches at the
mm,
receiver side in the proper
great,
manner, like
fine,
whatever it sends.
great. Yeah, so that's correct. Fine. Okay, so we have done with fine. And I have one more question for you. Let's say we have database, correct, right?
Yeah,
Okay, please understand my question carefully. We have database and we have DBMS. Okay,
yeah.
correct, fine. Is there any difference between these two stuff?
Yeah, DBM is basically a database management system, how we manage the databases and perform some operations. So it is a set of programs or application for that. Our database is a, we can say, a set of logical things where we store the data.
Okay. So how you connect? Suppose if you want something from database, how do you connect to it, and how do you retrieve data from it with help of what?
Yeah, like in SQL case, we can retrieve the data by performing some select operation. So that comes under the DBS
You will not
application
contact
programs.
with the help of SQL. You can't. No, with the help of SQL, you can't able to connect to the database. Correct, right? So
Yeah,
you
like
should
in
have some intermediate stuff. What is that?
yeah, like in the case of MongoDB that I've worked on. So like through this Mongos, we can connect to the database. We can,
Okay.
yeah, through that
Okay.
you,
Okay. So you're taking NoSQL data store. That's fine. Fine. Fine.
yeah,
I'm like my question is very clear. So we have database, okay. We have DBMS,
yeah,
okay. Correct, right? Fine. So suppose in database I have some records, okay. I have to retrieve those records, okay, from the database, okay. So with whom I need to speak?
okay,
So I am a user, okay. With whom I should I speak to
okay.
database directly or should I speak to what?
I have to
For
speak with
which
the
entity I
database
need?
management system, like some query.
Yeah, that is what I am expected. Yeah. So user speaks to DBMS. In turn, DBMS speaks to
No, no,
database.
user speaks.
Like we
Yeah,
have,
yes, yeah,
correct, right? Yeah. So we have two levels.
yes.
So we as a user, I'll not directly interact with the database.
Yeah,
correct, right? So that is what I as so that's why I told database DBS with which entity we need to speak. So
yeah,
so user contact DBMS, DBMS contact database, and so like that. Fine, that's great. Okay, okay. Here one more question. So you have worked with Java, right? So correct, right? So suppose when you let's say you write C program, okay, correct,
yeah,
right? So after writing C program, so you are expecting some results after writing the program, correct, right? You
yeah,
want some task to be done. So for that you have written some C programs, let's say, okay. I just want to know, like, uh, how this execution happens in C programming, especially. You can take an example of C++, both are almost same. Uh, correct, right? And then this, like, with difference to the, like, when you write a Java program, okay, here the execution pretty different when compared to the C and C++, correct?
yeah,
So, so can I just tell me more about that? Did you understood
yeah.
my
So
question first
yeah,
correctly?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So whatever the program we write first, it will save in a file. So whenever the file will be compiled, it will be the executable file which is stored in a hard disk, we can say. So whenever we run that program, it will put into the memory so that so that the CPU can
Mhm.
work on that program.
Mm.
Then after it gives us some result or output. So that's why how a program and a process works.
Okay, fine. That's okay. But how the program is executed in Java? Okay, so this is fine with C. Like, so whatever what and all steps, okay, that your system will take, okay, to execute the Java program. So I have we have some different stages when we are actually running Java program, correct, right? So how it gonna? You told about C. That's perfect. So
Yeah,
so after compiling it, you will get an executable file that is get into the hard disk, and from there, CPU takes that. That's fine. So, but my
yeah,
question here is, like, when it comes to Java, so we have a lot of components. Like, so I want to know, like, how you have you understood those components, like how Java program will
yeah.
gonna run. That is
So,
what my question.
like in Java, what I know is, like in Java is a platform independent. So it compiles the code and we can run that code in every machine which have Java runtime environment is set up. So, like we can run that executable file, like so, which makes it a platform independent language.
Mhm.
So
Correct, correct.
that I
Okay.
think
What
Java
about the
Java
C?
works.
C is platform.
Dependent and Java is platform
Okay, that's
independent.
correct. What about C? So you told Java is platform independent. Okay, platform independent. Fine. Okay, so I'm just specifically asking about those stages. Like you write Java program, you give it to the Java compiler. Okay, Java compiler will turns that to different form of code. So do you know the term of that code? Like what term we usually refer for that? Like after writing Java program, okay, so you will give it to the Java compiler, correct?
Yeah, it will in
Okay,
the form
Java
of
compiler
bytes, like
will
it's
convert that code, whatever you have written,
yeah,
bytes. Okay, so we have specific term called bytecode. Okay, okay. So then
yeah,
how
byte
that
code.
bytecode will be processed? Like bytecode is platform independent, right? So as you
Yes,
told, it's platform independent. Okay, how that will be? Okay, bytecode will be given to what? Like your Java program will be given to the
it is
Java
given.
compiler, and it
Yeah,
will
it is
give
given
the
to the
bytecode. Okay, bytecode
yeah,
will be given to the
Java runtime environment is there, which is it is given to that,
what?
which runs that.
Okay. Java runtime environment will provide some libraries, as you told. Those stuff
Yeah,
will be provided by Java runtime environment. But bytecode will that is in a very broader way. You're telling GRE, but we
yeah.
have one specific machine. So, do you know about that machine name? What is that?
Uh,
For which machine we used to give this code?
Actually,
Okay,
I'm not
so you need
recalling the
to
name.
revise it. Like so, JVM. Have you
Yeah, yeah,
do you
Java
remember
virtual
Java
machines.
virtual
Yeah,
machine?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bytecode will be given to the Java virtual machine. Yeah,
Okay.
so bytecode will be given to the Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine will give the output line. Okay, so these stuffs you should be remembering. This is one of the questions that I got when I got interviewed in William. That's why I remembered. I just thought of asking you the same question. Right.
Yeah, got it.
So fine, Aman. Okay. So
Yeah.